Yeah, so we made that switch. We've had supervised drivers actually sitting in the driving chair with passengers being tested for months and months now up in your neighborhood. But now we have made that switch. We've made that switch where we've got the safety driver over in the passenger side, and we now have essentially the community in the back seat. It's folks that appreciate FSD, appreciate Tesla, Tesla bulls and whatnot, but it's a pretty big step. You
Right.
talk to me about that step.
Yeah, I think as we were discussing earlier, the reality is that, all testing, all good plans are, what do we said? All good plans. There's the old saying is all good plans, war plans fail when you meet the enemy.
Yes.
I mean, it's sort of like when you throw the real customer in the car, everything is profoundly different. It looks like it's going to be the same. It looks like you can predict it. It looked like you could throw hundreds of employees in the back seat of these Model Ys and run them around Austin and everything. You checked every box, but you put real customers in the car, and then it just changes. And so I think one of the primary reasons the observer is there, I think there's a couple of reasons the observer is there. So just to be clear, what we're talking about is a Tesla employee sitting in the passenger seat of the car who probably from an active controls point of view can do an intervention. We've seen that behavior, but really has no second by second control of the car whatsoever.
Right.
And I think the observer's function is possibly threefold. One, I think it's observing the passenger's experience quietly, listening in, trying to understand what issues the passengers are having that they didn't see. Like said a lot of times the app was out of sync with the car's version. Okay, it's something to report in, or some customers literally didn't know how to get out of the car. Interesting. But the observer can observe that behavior. The observer can also observe the car's behavior, and because they're trained to see the anomalies, they can pick up things that the customers are not going to report in. I mean, the customers may be so busy with the experience and playing the music, and they're videoing the thing that they don't see the Robotaxi blow a stop sign or take an illegal right-hand turn, when it says no, turn. So the observer is zoned in on that and can bring that data back to the Tesla ops guys, engineering side, instantaneously, right? Right after the ride, they could literally call in. I suspect one of the reasons the cars are sometimes out of service or listed as not available is that I think the observer is actually calling in and reporting on situations that he or she determined during that last ride.
Right.
And then I think the third reason that the observer might be there is it's just a clever way for Tesla to place an employee between any kind of behavior that might occur, like unsettling behavior from the spectating audience, meaning like, people protesting or trying to stop the cars artificially or doing something that is kind of, unseemly and I think that it allows Tesla to say, hey, to those people, sort of there's a deterrent. There's an employee in this car. It's not just the customers, and there's somebody here that, is probably trained to call in and get some help if there's something, because we haven't seen that, luckily.
Right.
No one's reported that, which is great. I mean,
Yeah.
nobody needs that kind of junk. But so I think the observer is super important, and I think it's the observer is going to be selectively removed from the car. How? I mean, there's plenty of ways that they can remove them. I mean, they can't scale this way, and they won't scale this way. But maybe when they open the geofence to a wider area, the observers will be more situated with cars in these newer areas that are open, and eventually they'll just be removed. from the system. I mean, I could also imagine another scenario where Tesla starts to rate the passenger, how many rides they had, and then tries to make available cars with non-observers to the most experienced passengers, if that makes sense. I mean, it's a little harder to do because it's not super scaled, but you could imagine that there's certain of us we have a lot of experience with FSD, and we would properly report behavior of the car and so forth, where the observer would be like extraneous.
So of course, I'm the optimist. That's my job, is to be the optimist in every room.
Yeah.
And so I'm hopeful that the observers go away soon.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful that they scale up soon. I'm hopeful that they expand the territory, the geofenced area, soon and far, not just across the river like Waymo, but to the entire region. These are all things that I'm hoping happen soon. I'm going to ask the engineer, what do you think is going to happen?